Okay, it's Tuesday, January the 6th, 2009. We're going to spend a minute here and just take a closer look at the carburetors. I sent them out to a well-known carburetor guy. Is well renowned in the area for what a nice job he does and stuff, and they came back and just weren't satisfactory. A lot of loose screws, parts that weren't changed, block jets, a lot of things wrong. So what we basically did is took them apart and started on them ourselves. Ordered some parts up from Yamaha and taking our time and enjoying them. They're fully gutted right now, all emptied out, disturbed. And again, the main problem we had with these carburetors was that it came from a long storage situation where it sat for a number of years with stale gas in it, so most of the damage was down in the bottoms of the float bowls and stuff, and the jet blocks that goes in there and rides along the bottom. Here, I'll take a second and try to show you what we have here. There's a diaphragm with the needle. This is the jet block here, and the way these carburetors operate is this jet block sits down inside of there, and your jets go in the bottom here with the plugs, and your main jet is right here in the bottom. So what occurs is when you have a storage situation with bad fuel, is all that bad gasoline lays down in here in your jets, and you get everything all blocked up. Everything above there is just pretty much routine cleaning. So that's where we're going with these. Tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to take these up to a friend's house. We're going to glass bead the bodies just to get a nice look to them. Go over some things real quick. That's the diaphragm chamber where it rides. You'll see you have a jet down there. Up here in the top you have a jet. Those are basically air jets. No need to really bother with them. They don't handle any fuel. You just spray some carburetor cleaner through them and they're good to go. Over here on the side, this is your choke enrichment circuit, and all we did was just take the piston out of that. They say as long as that gasket's not leaking, that there really isn't a need to disturb it, because you can blow into it every way from every other angle to clean it out. And if you can look in there, it is just pretty much a hollow chamber, just a little thing a piston rides in. Show you the piston that rides inside there. A little basket of parts here. And here we have all of our other little goodies. The main bleed pipe. The idle adjustment screw. A lot of times this is the one that they'll tell you that you just turn it in till it seats, and to seat it gently. You can see why. It has a very, very, very fine tip on it. It would be very easy to damage it. Spring, a washer, and an O-ring right in front of it. So that's why they tell you to be cautious with it. I mean, that's very fine. And it tends to have a bigger body and nice hefty threads on it though. So we got that. These rubber plugs here, they were all hardened and rotted. Got a new set of them coming. These should be pliable, and they barely are. And so we have new ones of those coming. Screws. This is the pilot jet here. Again, you're going to hear one of the things that you hear when you're talking about a bike that comes out of storage and won't idle, especially with these 535s. They'll only idle on the choke. That little tiny pinhole right there is what provides your your fuel for idle. It would be called, a lot of the Harley guys call these things the slow jet. Here in the, you see this referenced in a lot of the stuff we read and talk about as the pilot jet. And very, very easy to plug that up. So, but when it comes to this, I'm not even going to try cleaning it. It's such a small hole that I've even tried using some tiny brushes, a piece of wire and stuff, which is just an experiment, because you really shouldn't do that. It's easy to scratch the brass and change the dimensions of the jet and stuff, so, and disrupt the fuel flow through it. It was just an experiment to see how plugged up it was. With a jet that's this small and was that contaminated laying in the fuel, it's my belief you're just better off to go ahead and replace something like that. It's a few dollars and it doesn't break the bank, and I think in the long run it saves you a lot of grief and heartache. The diaphragms are in pretty fair shape. We have a little bit of wear around the edges, but that's the sealing edge. That's where it sits. I'll show you here. That's where it sits down in this groove all the way around. So when that cap goes on, basic wear that we're looking at on that is just like I said, on the sealing edges. What I plan to do with it before I install it is there's a product called Seal All. It's a flexible sealer glue type thing. It's like a rubber cement, and oil and gasoline don't affect it. That's what makes it a unique product, and it remains flexible. So we're going to take it and just use like the head of a match and just go around and touch in that spot right there especially, and just make sure it seals up a little bit better. And the rest of the diaphragm, the slide looks to be in nice shape. The needles are clean. There's nothing going on with the needles, so I think we're going to get away with those. Hollow it out. And I left the throttle shafts in. The butterfly and the throttle shaft is still in. Situation where, you know, depending how far we were coming from with this for a cleanup, if these would have needed to soak in like one of those buckets of cleaners or something, this shaft would have had to been removed. And so would the seat have, because this shaft on the end has rubber seals. And you can see there's not really much to hold it in there. There's that circlip there on the end. Washer. And then it would just slide out this end. And you'd have the two screws to take out of your butterfly. But the butterfly screws can be a bitch to get out because they're staked, which means the ends are hammered, so they don't ever vibrate loose and fall down into your engine. So they're a little bit miserable to get out, and then we get into availability issues again. Once you get this thing opened up, if something goes wrong with that seal while you're trying to pry it out of there, or it would get damaged, it's no longer a replaceable item. I haven't been able to find that on any of the Yamaha sources, and there's no real confirmation that any of the aftermarket ones will fit it. And aftermarket parts, what I've experienced so far, haven't been very good. We've tried a couple of things with turn signal arms, stuff like that, and the fit, the quality of them, it's just terrible. And I've also heard some of the aftermarket carburetor components for the Hitachis and the Mikunis, both the first, second generation Mikunis and the BSD models like we're using here, the Keister kits are of a very low quality. I've been hearing things about like elongated jets, the holes not drilled properly in them, the sizing incorrect, all sorts of ugly stories. The jet block gasket in this case here, I don't have the one here, but these carburetors had one in it, and it's double thickness, so you've got to tighten it down twice as much. You really have to get it to torque down to set on the pins. So that's where we're at. Battery's going dead in the camera, so we're going to take a little break here.